Hello everybody, and welcome back to Certified Collectibles. This is another episode of First Appearances of the Week. This is Wednesday, June 29th, 2022. We'll be giving you all the first appearances in your comic shops today. Now this week we have a pretty good video for you guys. I think we have 3 first appearances, but 9 honorable mentions, 12 titles on all to go through, a little bit bigger than usual, so definitely some books in there you want to pick up for your collection. Let's go ahead and get started for the first appearances of the week ending July 1st, 2022. First up from Marvel Comics, Avengers number 57. This features the first appearance of Sergeant Zardos, Soldier Supreme, possibly Stefan Zardos from an alternate reality. This also features the first team appearance of the Secret Invaders of World War II. Now, we always say, with Marvel Comics, pick up any first appearance of new characters, so this is one we do think you should probably pick up. You know, Marvel, Disney is still churning out a ton of material for the small screen and big screen. You never know when any of these characters are going to appear in any of these projects, so in our opinion, these are worth picking up at the cover price. Go ahead and grab this one here for your collection. Next up from Marvel Comics, Excellent number 4. This features the first appearance of a teleporter named Toodle Pip. Now, the Excellent title series, not necessarily one of Marvel's strongest title series or heavily collected title series, but once again, this is the first appearance of a new character in a Marvel title. This one here is going to be a little bit more speculative than the Avengers that we just mentioned a moment ago, but once again, still probably worth picking up at the cover price. You don't want to end up paying more for this later on. Go ahead and grab this one here if you can. If you can't, put it on your B-list, but definitely take a look at it later on. And finally for Marvel Comics, Spider-Man 2099 Exodus number 3. This features the cover appearance and possible first full appearance of the New Avengers 2099 led by Moon Knight. Now this one here, since this is the possible first full appearance of New Avengers 2099, you might want to do a little bit more research before you pick this one up. If it is the first full appearance, then you definitely want to give this one here. New Avengers 2099 led by Moon Knight. You know, we all know how popular the Moon Knight franchise is now due to the Disney streaming series. So this is one we do think is worth picking up for the cover price. Go ahead and grab this one here for your collection. And now for the honorable mentions. From Behemoth Comics, Redman number 1. The creators of Ultraman introduce a new kaiju hunter. Now, Ultraman, incredibly popular, has a huge fan base, huge collector base, and this is a new kaiju hunter being introduced by those same creators. This one here may not be as big or become as important or as heavily collected as Ultraman, but maybe worth picking up for the cover price to spec on. This is definitely a little bit more of a speculative bet if you choose to pick it up, but in our opinion, it may be worth doing so. Go ahead and grab this one here if you can. If you can't, put it on your B-list and take a look at it later on. Next up from Image Comics, Sins of the Black Flamingo number 1. This is a 5-issue series about a flamboyant and narcissistic thief who gets his kicks stealing mystical artifacts from the wealthy and corrupt of Miami's occult underground. Now this one here sounds like it could lend itself very well to a small screen and big screen project, and Image Comics has had a lot of their titles picked up over the past few years for these projects. So this one here, definitely a little bit more of a speculative bet if you choose to pick it up, but these Image titles, like I said, these might be worth picking up for the cover price to spec on. You don't want to end up paying a ton later if these become huge. If they go nowhere, you're out a couple bucks. They come big, you know, you're in a winner for $3 or $4. Go ahead and grab this one here for your collection if you can. If you can't, put it in your B-list, but definitely keep an eye on this one. Next up from Image Comics, Public Domain number 1. This is a series about the world's greatest metafictional comic character, the Domain, that addresses the battle between comic publishers and corporations versus creators. Now this sounds like a very interesting idea, but it definitely deals with the comic book industry itself, the battle between comic publishers and corporations versus the creators. So we really don't know how this is going to translate into any other project, whether it be a streaming series, TV show, or feature film. We really don't see that coming out of this particular issue. This is one, you might want to put this one on your B-list for now. Keep an eye on it, but we think you have some time on this one. Next up from Scout Comics, Agent of World number 1. An agent for the ultra-bizarre sci-fi spy organization World wonders if there is more to life than the creatively violent disposal of out-there oddities. Now, if you guys have been paying any attention over the last couple years, you've seen a ton of Scout titles get optioned for small screen and big screen projects. You almost can't go wrong with picking up these at cover price. We definitely think any of the Scout titles right now are worth picking up the spec on. Go ahead and grab this one here for your collection. If you can, put in your B-list, but definitely keep an eye on these Scout titles. Next up from DC Comics, Deathstroke Incorporated number 10. This features the origin of Deathstroke. The arc is titled Deathstroke Year 1. Now this is the origin story of an already established character, and if this origin brings a little bit more to the Deathstroke character than has already been established, this may be more important, but we really don't know until we read this particular issue. This is one you definitely want to do a little bit more research on before you pick this one up, but we really don't know what DC is doing with this new origin story of Deathstroke. If it's greatly different than before, this is one you want to pick up. If it's not, if it doesn't bring anything new to this character, you could probably pass on this one or put it on your B list. Grab this one here if you can. If you can't, put it on your B list, take a look at it later on. Next up from DC Comics, Harley Quinn number 16. This features the origin of Verdict. Now, we really don't know how important the Verdict character will be in the DC universe, and this is the origin of Verdict. So, once again, don't really know how important this will be going forward. It really depends on what DC does with this new Verdict character. If they bring this character across a lot of new storylines into small screen or big screen projects, this character will be more important. This is the origin of this character, so this one here, definitely more of a speculative bet if you choose to pick it up. Grab this one here for a speculative bet if you can. If you can't, put it in your B-list. We do think you have some time on this one. Next up from Marvel Comics, Iron Cat number 1. This is a 5-issue limited series featuring an unknown individual in the Iron Cat armor that was introduced in Black Cat number 11 back in 2020. Now, this is a premiere issue of this Iron Cat title series. This is a 5-issue limited series, and this is an unknown individual in the Iron Cat armor. If this is a big reveal, this is going to be a big deal, and this is one you do want to have in your collection. If not, you know this is not going to be all that important. So this, once again, is a little bit more of a speculative bet if you choose to pick it up. This is a Marvel title, and this is a premiere issue of this limited series, so it may be worth picking up for the cover price. Go ahead and grab this one here if you can. If you can't, put it in your B-list. Take a look at it later on. Next up from Marvel Comics, The Variance number 1. This is a 5-issue limited series featuring different variations of Jessica Jones as Jewel, Nitrous, and an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, Jessica Jones, hugely popular, huge collector base, huge fan base for this character, and this features Jessica Jones as all these different characters. So this is one we do think you should probably pick up and add to your collection. This sounds like it lends itself very well to a streaming series, and Marvel Disney churning out a lot of media lately. So this is one we do think is worth picking up the spec on. Go ahead and grab this one. And finally from Marvel Comics, Venom Lethal Protector number 3. This features a debut of a new costume and powers in this limited series that takes place in the early days of Venom. Now this is one we definitely think you should pick up and add to your collection. You know, Venom, hugely popular, huge fan base, huge collector base, and Disney Marvel still churning out feature films for this particular franchise. And this features a debut of a new costume and new powers. You don't want to miss this one. Go ahead and grab this for your collection. So there you have the 12 titles that we have for you guys this week. A little bit more than usual, and definitely some books in there you want to pick up for your collection. Please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Certified Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.